So when you say India went to war with the Chinese proxy, I asked Air Marshal Dixit, who was there in our town hall, that it was basically the Pakistan army fighting with Chinese weapons. Is the jury still out on the efficacy of these Chinese weapons? Because, for the longest time, Indian war planners and military strategists were talking about this two-front war. Pakistan attacks and China attacks. India has to deal with both fronts. Now it seems more like a fused front. It's Chinese weapons, but Pakistan army is using them. How does that change the nature of how we understand war and how military has to prepare for it?
I mean, the character of warfare, and that came out in the town hall as well, is always changing, right? What new technology, and you asked about what we call revolutions in military affairs, kind of like manned pilots, drones, all of that aspect. In this, of course, war is the ultimate test, and I deal with the military a lot. There's always ideals about the future of war and what will be most important. For me, all warfare is a combination of the old things you still need and the new technologies enhancing what is known to be what is necessary. The Chinese weaponry aspect of this, again, not tested. The Chinese military hasn't been tested in a very long time, so their tech is being tested, and people are buying it. And then as I go around the world, you see, okay, whose tech is being sold to the world, whether that's air defense systems or fighter pilot jets or even missiles. And those get put to the test. Now I have to objectively roll that back. Okay, where did it perform well? Where did it not? And I do everything unclassified, so there's limits to my research. But clearly, on the full scale, and I think this was being missed about Operation Sindoor, is that India, with all of its equipment and variations from some Israeli, some mostly indigenous Indian, dominated. At least the ability to attack Pakistani sites, the 9 terrorist sites and the 11 military sites, that can't be mixed in the lessons here against the Chinese base on military, basically.
So going back to one of the things that you said, new tech, and we saw evidence of the new tech, drones in particular, during the India-Pakistan conflict, as well as we've been seeing this in the context of Russia-Ukraine for a longer period. But you're not one of those folks who thinks that drones are going to replace fighter jets or fighter pilots.
No, I'm not. I've studied war long enough to know that there are revolutions in military affairs, what we call the game changers, like nuclear weapons was a game changer, or the telegraph, the railroad, things like that. I've been watching drones since the first the second Nagorno-Karabakh war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, when Turkish and Israeli drones dominated the battlefield, but you have to go there and see why, because it's just an open bowling ground. So anything can be hit that can be seen. It's a evolution of air power. Of course, it's a cheaper version of it. So you have the aspect, and you have the droning, swarming capabilities, which again, what I'm looking at too is D4S and other systems were very dominant even against what is working in other parts of the world, which is swarming. Whether it's Shahed version drones or others, if you swarm any advanced system, sometimes you can get breakthroughs. In this case, Pakistan wasn't able to.
What about the human cost? One of the things that governments, especially democracies, have been wary of is putting boots on the ground or sending fighter pilots across the line, because there's a nature of risk involved in it. Drones take that element of risk out because there's no human life being lost. I mean, it's a machine, and you can afford. There's no human cost involved there.
There is definitely, that is the goal, and it's been there in warfare for a long time. I mean, we've been experimenting World War I with basically wired devices, trying not to put soldiers at risk, which you shouldn't. I am also, though, of the mind that some operations, again, this is why explaining to people what the goal was. So even for India in Operation Sindoor, the goal was to reestablish deterrence, establish this new doctrine, not to go all in for something. Even when you see Iran, Israel, it's not a regime change. So, but if you want to do certain things like take ground, you still need soldiers, infantry to seize and hold ground. You can integrate these unmanned systems, and I agree with, like you during the town hall, manned, unmanned teaming is really what we're at. You can help assist in operations, not fully autonomous. Actually, there's even human reservations to fully autonomizing things in war. Like, we're really okay with defensive weapons.
Not so much.
Not so much offensive weapons, that there's no human in the loop Nobody's there yet.